Hi, friends, and welcome to ScreenVomit, the only movie podcast for normal people. I'm, of course, your host, Kayla, and here with me is my twin, Kali J.
Ding dong!
All right, Kali's trying out a new one every time. We also have a guest with us today. Can you believe? Our guest is a Chicago filmmaker, a non-binary icon, has made such films as Shitcago, love it, and has a new movie called The Big Zip. That will be our freaking guest, Nick Alonzo. What's up?
Thank you for having me. And welcome!
Hell yeah. All right, so tell us how you got into filmmaking.
So what's interesting is that I'm self-taught. Born and raised in Chicago. I've always liked the idea of filmmaking. I like cameras, acting. I did a lot of Lego stop motion stuff when I was younger.
Nice.
Obsessive cameras, and then it wasn't until maybe 2015 when I made Shitcago. A lot of it was just revolving around my frustration of I come from a middle class family. I don't really have the money to go to film school. I could try it out. I could try to be in debt for the rest of my life, but
sure.
Why not just try to do it with whatever resources I have and just build from it? At the time, I also became a parent. I have a 6-year-old. His name is Eli. And, when he was born and then me trying to figure out what I want to do, I was just I could just do the filmmaking stuff and then, bite the bullet of working a bunch of odd jobs, use that money to finance whatever I want to do. So I kind of had that mentality, and I just kind of built from it where it's funny because Shitcago, even though it's this low budget black and white thing about, a day in the life of a Chicagoan and just based off, personal experiences, the success behind that was I was able to get a small distribution from an Illinois based, company. I got a couple write-ups in Time Out Chicago. I had maybe 3 to 5 local screenings. Nice.
So you were an instant celeb.
Yeah, exactly. Where I was just it's weird because when I look back at it, I was I did that thing where, and I guess my expectation was if I make this film, I can just submit it to the biggest film festival and it'll get in. But I like that, I had to go through the idea of rejection and being able to contact people about the film who probably were I don't like this because it looks crappy and there's no famous people in it. They're who wants to watch a film that's quirky or stuff like that where I just built from it. And the next year I made another film. That one has a long title and that's The Artist Sitting Quietly and Doing Nothing. And then The Big Zip, which is the latest thing I did, that's just straight up just a stoner comedy film shot around the city of Chicago. Very comedic, and I believe it's a fun film.
Hell yeah.
Trying to find a way to get this film out there without, I think what's funny about COVID is that if you're a major studio, you could just throw your film on any streaming site.
Sure.
But when you're an independent filmmaker, you kind of just have to figure out what's the best way to do it without just having to get lost in a pile of movies that nobody knows existed. But yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to, and I've just been doing short stuff and I just kind of gave you the whole narrative, so hopefully
that ruled. Covered a lot of bases. I appreciate it.
So you don't know at the moment if The Big Zip is going to be in a place where other people can really watch it or what's going on with that. Yeah.
I've been talking to 2 separate parties about distribution, and right now it's just a matter of waiting and when the time is right.
What are your filmmaking dreams? Do you want to stay in Chicago and do Chicago shit forever, or do you have bigger aspirations, or do you even can you even think of the future at a time like this?
It's interesting because there's a lot of stuff happening in Chicago, but sadly a lot of it's just overshadowed by the the Dick Wolf type shows that are being shot here, where I would like to stay local at the same time just so that I can be hey, there's also this other scene in Chicago that exists,
And show the more authentic side of Chicago.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I just I really hope that the more I make films and build off of whatever I do next, it just kind of shines more light on that like independent scene in Chicago that exists, and it exists in not just film, it exists in music, and like in a way, like with podcasts too.
Yeah, it's a great city to be a DIY artist in. Yeah, there's a lot of support for people like us. So I think it's interesting that you picked this movie from our list today. You picked the 2018 film Relaxer. What drew you to pick this movie without spilling too many beans?
A few months ago, I saw the trailer for it. I've been a fan of Joel Petrikis, the director and writer, for some time. He has a film called Buzzard, which was like a big like independent film that like people were talking about, but again, it was like kind of a cult kind of following kind of thing. He did another film called The Alchemist Cookbook, which is insane. And when I heard about Relaxer and I'm looking into it, I'm like, wow, this is interesting, because it's like he's been making all these low budget, micro budget films, and Relaxer is kind of like in that same vein, but bigger in the sense of like how ambitious it is.
Yeah.
I was intrigued by it, and I was just like, oh, okay, I gotta check this out. Watched it, and like when I contacted you guys, and when that was like on the list, I was like, oh hell yeah, because nobody's talking about this film, like nobody's. But what's funny about this director is that apparently he was offered like a lot of different like projects, like Hollywood projects, including like a Marvel film, and instead of that he wanted to make this, where I was like, oh cool, he wants to stay true to his art and would rather just put his focus on what he is dreaming of when it came to this project. And for me, that just felt inspiring, because I'm like, I think there needs to be more passion projects from independent filmmakers.
Yeah, for sure. And I say that it's funny that you picked this film, because I think that there are similarities between his kind of view and inspirations and stuff and yours as a filmmaker, from a filmmaker's perspective, at least. Yeah. He's from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and he really wants to like showcase Grand Rapids and do a lot of things around Michigan. And you're doing that with Shitcago. And I've read that one of your big inspirations was Evil Dead, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Petrikis has said the same thing. It's one of the two movies he first saw that was like, I saw this and I need to make movies now.
That's funny, because I actually did not know that. So that's actually, that's a good find, because Evil Dead, like I feel like, and even someone who's like not really a filmmaker can watch it, and like I guess it's clear that like this person was just in love with the idea of making a horror movie and went out of their way. And Sam Raimi was just like, like I want to make a film that I wrote with the people that I love, and like a lot of horror fans and medias are just like obsessed with this movie. So yeah, no, it definitely has its like cultural impact.
Hell yeah,
for sure. I just thought that was kind of
there's a little
cool
link.
little a little psychic link between the two of y'all. All right, Relaxer, starring Joshua Burge, who's in The Revenant. He's in 20th Century Women. He also is a freaking rocker.
What?
Is in a band called Chance Jones from Grand Rapids. And guess what? I listened to them today, and
nice.
They're good. Chance Jones. They have an album on Spotify. David Dasmalchian, who is in Blade Runner 2049.
He's in lots of stuff.
He's also in the Ant-Man movies. We, of course, have Andre Highland, who me and Kali stan.
Quickly becoming our boy, yeah.
Yeah, quickly becoming our boy. We did his movie Death of Dick Long on the pod previously. Do recommend. Yeah,
I've heard about that one.
Oh, his character is incredible. You got to see it even just for him.
That's by one of the Daniels, right?
Yes, yeah. Cool flick. So Andre is in this movie. We also have Adina Howard, who is an R&B star from the 90s. She also is from Grand Rapids, and this is her feature film debut, so that's cool. And Amari Cheatham, who is in Django Unchained, Roman J. Israel Esquire, and many other things.
Hell yeah.
And that's the cast. It's a small cast.
It is.
Kali, tell us the critic scores.
Cricket scores, we got a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, 82 on Metacritic, and then our wild card, Google users, 64%.
Blech. 64 kind of sucks. All right, so let's watch the trailer, and then we'll get into it.
Relax. Breathe in. Relax. Now exhale. Let this masterpiece wash over you.
Okay, that was incredible.
You do not leave this couch until the challenge is completed.
Challenge accepted.
A meditation on the fine art of relaxation. You deserve this. What the fucking sanity? What is this script for?
2-liter hands.
Hand.
Hands.
Hand.
Hands.
Hand.
Hands.
Hand.
Hands. Oh, you don't think I can drink all this shit?
Open your mind to this unforgettable experience. Be in this moment, wildly, happily unique.
It smells like fucking mouth farts up in here, dude.
It's the damn Y2K, sweet chunks.
I'm just gonna relax for a little while longer.
Let go of the stress. Excuse me. Relaxer. A film by Joel Petrikis, featuring original music by Neon Indian.
Just fucking show me the money, dude.
Look.
You fucking seen Jerry Maguire? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Show me the money. Fucking Thomas Cruise style. You should see it, though, because it's got Jerry Cantrell from fucking Alice in Chains in it. He plays like a fucking Kinko's employee.
Okay, first of all, folks, you have to watch this trailer. The opening to this trailer. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
That's an incredible trailer. That's wild.
Secondly, it's a testament to how good Andre Hyland is in this movie that
Oh, yeah.
he's only actually in the movie for like 2 minutes, and he is 3/4 of the trailer.
Yeah. I mean, he is the most dynamic character we're introduced to in a movie that is so static. He comes
That
in
ripped.
like a fucking wrecking ball. Yeah. This movie, I just watched it. Like,
Yeah.
it's either terrible or just like a brilliant masterpiece, and it really blurs the line. And I described it to my partner Lindsay as like, you know those movies where it's like nothing really happens, but it just vibes? It's that, but the vibe is gross.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
I think this is also a movie that benefits from sitting on you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the more I think about it and the more I was reading about it, and just spoiler alert, I accidentally did a lot of research on this movie.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, it's just cooler and cooler.
Oh, yeah.
I agree.
I think simply, it's one of those films that like doesn't hold any punches of like, this is what it is, this is what you're watching, stay if you want, but like, you know, who cares if like
Yeah.
I'm sure like the director probably just feels like if someone like walked out, he would be happy about that because it's that gross and like almost uncomfortable to watch. I feel like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, I gotta rewatch this. But like, it's so bizarre and indescribable almost, where it's like I wouldn't even imagine like how the script for this even looked, you know?
Yeah, it is like impossible to describe this in a way that really captures it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. It's the trailer. I was blown away by the trailer because it does it so well. Even with so much footage and
maybe one of the best trailers I've ever seen.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
incredible.
It's concise. It's super effective and almost like I would say disarming.
Yeah.
And it really wears you. It just by the end you're just not grossed out by any of it. You're just like you're worn. It wears you the fuck down, and it's just like
It starts you out being repulsed by the main character, and by the end you're like empathetic to him and you feel bad for him, and I think that that's cool. It changes your feeling by the end.
for a character that literally never stands up until the last scene. He has an incredible arc.
Yeah, so it's done so interestingly because the entire thing takes place in one room. Almost all of it is also just from one frame, just staring at this couch at eye level to this man. There are a few cuts for different angles, but it's all in this room. They never leave the room, and almost all of it is that same cut. And yet, they still make it really interesting. And That's so unique.
Totally. I was glued. I wanted to know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
The film, like the elevator pitch is like, the movie doesn't leave the room.
The premise starts with the deadly sin of sloth.
Yes.
He's lazy. He wants to sit down and play video games and watch TV all day, forever. Well, he doesn't want to, but that's where the idea starts.
Yeah.
Like every boy's dream.
I agree.
And how can it go wrong?
Fair. I was weirdly envious of him.
You would be. That's every boy's dream.
What's interesting is like, and I like that you brought up the eye level stuff, Kayla, because it could also be like kind of like an analogy for how much patience can an audience member have for a movie nowadays. Where I like that, like, talking about meditation and like talking about like the idea that like the film's called Relaxer, it's like from the get-go, you know, you are gonna have to sit there with the character and just see it for what it is. Where I think at least like Joe Petrakis was trying to like do something with slow cinema, which again is like a subgenre, which I like calling it that, but I'm also like, I hate that we have to call it slow cinema. Like, I feel like you can combine that idea with comedy or like skit, gag type stuff. And I like that people are doing stuff like this. And I'm hoping that like in the future, when people want to make more, comedies, they kind of focus on like, let's try to make this joke stretch for a long time. I can see how someone can say this isn't funny. I don't know what's funny about it, but if you obviously have some kind of like, you know, taste for comedy, you can kind of see what's funny about it. Where like simply when he's trying to open up the pipe to get water and just shit water comes out, like I think that's like classic type humor where it's poop humor, but it's like that's stuff that like could happen, or it's stuff that like seems relatable, or like it's so ridiculous, but like it's the one thing that like I guess like people don't want to experience is like getting shit in their mouth, but like it goes that route.
The more niche comedy you can get, the more alt comedy you can find, like this or like Death of Dick Long, which we mentioned, which is quasi comedy, and the genre bending too, like with this and with Death of Dick Long, where it's not a straight up comedy. You know, there are other things going on, but there is a lot of comedy in it, and it's used very creatively.
Totally.
Which is fun. Yeah, makes it fun.
You hear like movies that use horror as a vehicle. Like this movie uses comedy as a vehicle. Honestly,
yeah, it uses Y2K as the vehicle.
That too.
What was your guys' experience with Y2K? If you don't mind me asking.
Kayla, go ahead.
Well, I'm the oldest
here.
You're the
oldest, yeah.
My experience with Y2K, I remember my mom being really freaked out about it. I mean, we've all heard it before, but it really was just like buzzing in the air that like people thought at 11:59, you know, once the clock struck 12, that all the lights were going to go out and the computers weren't going to work anymore, and we were totally just going to be in a state of chaos. My family was poor, so we weren't really like in a position to do anything about that feeling except like swarm around the TV and be nervous.
Hell yeah.
So, but like my school did a time capsule thing. Like we all had to put some stuff in a time capsule. Yeah, I don't know. That's mainly what I remember. What are y'all's experiences?
I was 7.
Do you remember anything?
Yeah, I was at a friend's house and I watched the ball drop, and I was not really aware of Y2K as a world-ending conspiracy or technology-ending event or anything. Mm-hmm. I may have been aware of it, but more so, I was just excited that now everything was called, like, Millennium or 2000.
Yeah. Did you get the new Will Smith CD?
Yeah, I had Millennium, I had the Backstreet Boys CD, Millennium. Uh-huh. You know, you got WrestleMania 2000, you have everything called 2000, Pokemon 2000. I mean, it rocked.
I was 4, so I don't remember shit.
All right, so let's talk about this movie.
Yeah.
The basic structure of this movie is almost like a play, where it's all one set. There's like long scenes, they just kind of change the lighting, and we get occasional visits from different characters. I wish it was a play.
Oh, yeah.
Let's write the play, because that'd be sick. So we're in Grand Rapids, Michigan in 1999, and I think we should start with talking about The Room, because I think The Room, like the set, is almost its own character.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
It is so insanely set. It was shot in the garage of the production designer's parents' house, and Petrakis modeled the set on his own college dorm room from college.
Oh, God.
And it took 4 months to build. There is like writing all over the walls. It is just a classic like bachelor pad, dirty, trashy apartment. It's incredible.
It's a hot couch guy's place.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone has an experience of that exact setting in various ways, whether it be like your college drug dealer or like some guy you knew.
Yeah.
And you just end up places in your late teens, early 20s. I feel like that's a constant theme for people, is just like, I ended up at this place. It was the grossest place ever.
Yeah.
And the couch was like incredibly hot.
Yeah.
And like it was just like a DVD menu playing.
Uh-huh. On tour, you hit a lot of these places.
Yeah. Oh, God. Mm-hmm. And it's just so, like, awkward. There's no decoration. Mm-hmm. It's just fucking...
Markers on the wall.
Which is insane. That felt very fucking 90s to me.
Yeah.
Because, like, late 90s had a big... Especially, like, white dudes were obsessed with this idea of, like, anarchy. Of, like, chaos. And just, like, oh, we're gonna fucking... wreck this place tonight. And it's like, why do you want to wreck this place? Why do you want to wreck it? Break things?
Yeah.
No, we have to sit here. And so, like, I totally understand this chaos of, like, at one point when a landlord comes, I don't know if he's a landlord or, like, a bug sprayer or what.
Fumigator,
thank you. He discovers, what is it, Bart Simpson with
a
drawn on the wall?
Yeah.
I vividly remember, like, being in a off-campus frat house in college. They had a door. If you got to have sex in that house, you wrote your name on the door and drew a little picture.
Ew.
Yeah, a disgusting concept, but, like, none of them ever thought, like, oh, a deposit.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh yeah, the sex door, dude. We gotta have it. And, like, I can vividly imagine any of these dudes. They're all vaguely stoned, but there's no weed involved.
No, we never see a drug in the movie.
Yeah.
Not in the budget.
Yeah, but you can easily picture...
Yeah. Have either of y'all seen the movie Spun?
No, I've heard of it, though. Jason Schwartzman's in it.
Yeah, this movie, especially at the beginning, gave me Spun vibes, because Spun's a movie about crystal meth, and a large part of it takes place inside of a house just like this, where John Leguizamo lives, and Patrick Fugit plays a similar character to Abby in this movie, where he sits around and plays video games all day, and John Leguizamo is ostensibly the mean older brother character. They have that kind of relationship in that movie as well, and it also takes place in a gross, like, fucked up house like this one. So I just saw some similarities there that were interesting and close to the same time. I think Spun was 2002. I mean, this obviously came out 2018, but as far as the time setting.
Yeah. I feel like Abby portrays, like a stereotypical slacker, and I really feel like the slacker has died. Are there still slackers? I feel like everything's too expensive, and everyone's dying all the time, and it's just like, I have to work 6 jobs.
People with rich parents.
Are slackers only rich nowadays?
People with rich parents or people who are still in high school.
Yeah, pretty much. This movie makes sense that he would be a slacker because it's set in the 90s. Yeah, it's weird because I don't think, like, the slacker character really works anymore because, like, things are expensive.
We're all slaves to capitalism now.
Exactly, yeah.
I like the character of Abby. And what's funny about the actor, I think he's in pretty much, I think all of Joel Petrakis' films except that Alchemist.
They went to college together, so they are old friends.
Yeah, that makes sense. And, like, the thing is, he kind of plays the same thing in a way, but In this one, which, Kayla, you mentioned about, like, how the movie has, like, comedic moments, but also, like, very, like, non-comedic moments, where I'm not gonna spoil it, but, like, the one thing that's mentioned about his father throughout, I really like that because it kind of adds this, like, sense of drama in it, and I think the actor, obviously, like, does a great job of, like, portraying that, because he looks so eager to see his father, and it's almost, like, a little heartbreaking, especially how that ending goes, even though the ending is just, like, fucking insane, but it's, like, it's incredible because, like, it's there, that whole subplot, but, like, it's very mysterious and just also, like, a little disturbing because you can kind of get a sense of what is the situation.
We can get to the father because I have a whole thing about that.
Of course you do.
So we're still introducing these people. So yeah, we have two brothers. One's a bully. They are obsessed with videotaping challenges in order to prove that the younger brother is strong enough to survive Y2K. That's the basic premise.
I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy this movie, but I was furious when this happened. I was like, just don't fucking do it. Like, what the fuck? I was just like, yes, I get it. Like, power dynamics and younger sibling inferiority complex, like, whatever.
It's like a machismo, like you're just trying to prove that you're, you know, strong enough and man enough or whatever to like
it's
do
like
these things.
But like, I think about when I fucking did challenges. Like, I would play Dead Arm in high school.
Yeah.
Wherein you just punch each other in the arm until one of you gives up. And like, it would stop at that. And so like, I guess what was so perturbing to me was that these 30-year-olds were doing challenges. And I was like, they're baby-brained.
Yeah. The first challenge that happens in the movie is the milk jug drinking challenge. And that was actually a challenge that Petrikis and his friends used to partake in his younger days. So, inspired by real events, they would try and chug, I forget what the stakes were, like a glass every 8 minutes or something, the real life version, until whoever puked first was out, and that would just be the last person who didn't puke would be the winner.
Man. Did they
he said the last person who would puke, the puke would be insane. And it was insane in this movie, too. Just like, he's like, it's a full gallon of puke coming out. Like, it's crazy. And their milk seems like rancid. They talk about the smell of it a few times. It's been sitting on the counter. He asks if you can have ice, so you're assuming it's hot. He's drinking it out of a baby bottle with a straw, which was hilarious.
All while playing Tony Hawk.
Hell yeah.
Which, like, just made me want to play it.
What I thought was kind of funny, and maybe it just doesn't matter, but like when he would play the game and then clearly not be using the controller like at all.
Oh my god.
And the game is still going on. I guess like my only issue with that is that like I wanted that to be like more of like the thrilling aspect of like, okay, if he doesn't do this correctly, he will fuck up the level.
Hard.
It is like kind of insane that they made the whole premise like that he has. Well, we haven't gotten to the rules of the challenge yet, but basically he has to get up to level 256 of Pac-Man, which is a game he claims to hate and not be good at. And that's like the whole stakes of the movie is that he has to beat this level of the game. However, they almost never show the TV or the game playing at all.
Sometimes he'll just be holding the controller, and of course the N64 controller, very weird. Mm-hmm. He's holding the middle part with his left hand and then doing something with his right, as if to imply that he is like playing, he's multitasking.
Yeah.
And again, Pac-Man is hard. Mm-hmm. Pac-Man takes focus. Like, it takes strategizing. And I'm to believe this MFer is just like do.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. Playing Pac-Man, even if you, like, look away from the screen, you have, like, maybe, like, 10 seconds before you actually die.
I'd say less than that.
The brother, who's in the fear shirt, he's so mean.
He is mean.
Until they introduced him as brother, I was just like, why is this very sweet, sweaty man being attacked by this cruel Republican?
I felt like I instantly got the brother vibe from them. Yeah, he's very mean. And it's, well, you know, once we do get to the dad stuff, it's like maybe he's dealing with stuff and not well. I don't know.
Sure.
But he is, yeah, he's very mean. So Abby, the younger brother, fails the milk drinking challenge because he peed in the jug and
God.
was almost forced to drink his own pee. And then pukes everywhere. And the puke is just so good. The puke is so good.
Yeah.
So good and so disgusting. And it's everywhere and it's covering everything. That was incredible puke.
That was the first time that I wrote, I feel unwell.
Yeah.
I wrote it about 6 times in my notes. And that was the first time.
So when the older brother goes to get a bucket before the puke actually comes, he also steals a gamer mag where he sees this Billy Mitchell challenge in the gamer mag. And then they come up to make this the final ultimate challenge that Abby will not fail.
You can't quit it. Yeah.
No. And so this is actually real. In 1999, Billy Mitchell, his company Ricky's Hot Sauce, said that they would give $100,000 to whoever could beat level 256 of Pac-Man by January 1st. And that prize was never claimed, by the way. And yeah, we all know who Billy Mitchell is, right? Yes? No?
I don't.
Billy Mitchell is a very famous gamer guy. If you ever watch any arcade game documentaries, he's all over it. In 1999, he became the first person to record a perfect score on Pac-Man. However, controversy recently in 2018, all his records in Twin Galaxies, which is like the Guinness Book of video game records, and also Guinness Books, were invalidated because they thought he used emulation software to falsify his scores.
Oh.
So all his records were struck. However, in June of this year, 2020, he successfully appealed to Guinness to get his record reinstated in Guinness. However, Twin Galaxies would not reinstate his records, and he is currently suing them for defamation.
Yeah, he sounds like he's probably a big freaking baby.
He is a big freaking baby, and if you see him, you just know this guy's a big freaking baby.
I hate him.
The stakes of this challenge now are get to this level that's basically impossible to get to and is a glitch in the game. Win $100,000. The rules are he can't get off the couch, he can't stretch, he can't lay down, so he can't stand up at all until he gets to that level of Pac-Man. And so there's no breaks in between the milk challenge and the Pac-Man challenge. So he's just covered in milk puke with whatever is in reach and begins the Pac-Man challenge.
I have started doing this thing where, like, folks, I do yoga. I don't want to talk about it, but I'm going to.
It's DDP yoga. It's different.
Yeah, it's cool boy wrestler yoga. Anyway, I've gotten to a point where, like, I've realized if I sit for, like, 2-3 hours, bad. My stand-up and my hips feel all closed up, and I feel tight, and I have to, like, kind of shake myself loose. And so this, again, just, like, struck me personally and very viscerally as, like, oh my god, this man is just, like, in the worst condition. Abby is in such bad shape.
He didn't even get a pee break in between challenges or a shit break or
he didn't get
anything.
To stand up or stretch at all.
Yeah.
It's just like his body is just kind of slowly closing in on itself in this single position, which is not like an ideal position for the human body. It's so fucking uncomfortable. The vibe is gross.
Yeah. So he is set on getting a Chuck E. Cheese pizza, which is so funny.
Such a good detail. I just he just says, "Should they deliver?"
They won't deliver to him.
No,
so
it's not his birthday.
Their pizza's like plain old like cardboard flat pizza. Like it's not special.
Yeah.
It's so funny that he's so determined to get this pizza.
Yeah.
So he has to call his friend Dallas to bring over some pizza and drinks because he can't leave the couch. Dallas is, of course, Andre Highland. And I had known that he was in this movie, but I forgot. So when he showed up, I was so excited. His character is incredible. Just top tier character guy. Andre has this way of making these like Midwestern guy characters that are so specific and so nuanced that he has multiple guys that are essentially this kind of guy that are so different.
Yeah.
They're so different.
Yeah.
They're not the same at all, but they're the same type of guy, and that is just such a talent.
Oh yeah. There is a direct like connection between his character in Death of Dick Long and his character in this. It's the same type of guy, just
they
in a
live
different...
in the same world, but they're not the same guy. They might live on a couple blocks away from each other or something.
Yeah.
You know? He also has a character named Jesse Miller that he used to do a Jesse Miller talk show at UCB, who is also a similar type of guy. And it's just incredible to me that he makes all these guys, and they are so, like, we talked about this in our Death of Dick Long episode, but, like, we know this guy. You know, we're, at least me and Kali, are extremely Midwest people. I don't know if you would consider Chicago's kind of its own thing. It's not exactly Midwest. But we're, you know, me and Kali grew up in Indiana. Like, we know this guy, dozens of these, you know?
Oh, God. Middle of Southern Indiana. Yeah, they're in my neighborhood.
And Andre's from Cincinnati. You know, it's the same, basically the same as Indianapolis. So, yeah, I don't know. He's just so good at the nuance of these characters.
Yeah.
I cannot. He's so good.
Limp Bizkit fans in 98. Like,
no, Kid Rock fans.
Oh, yes. Kid Rock fans in 98.
He's got his hair twisted up. He's got the sunglasses on top of his head, which are the same sunglasses from his Jesse Miller character, by the way. This role, actually, in this movie was written specifically for him. It's the only role in the movie that was written specifically for somebody, and it was written specifically for him. And he just kills it. He's incredible.
He just makes references. That's it.
He honestly makes the movie for me. TBH, am I a freak? I don't know, but I watched, after watching this full movie all the way through, I watched the beginning twice again because I just wanted to see him again.
He is delightful. I get it.
It was so good. So he shows up with no pizza because he doesn't like the guy who worked at Chuck E. Cheese because he spilled chili cheese on his pants and didn't apologize.
He's a man of principle.
You know that Andre probably improvised, I would say, everything that he says in this scene.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He brings 2 2-liters, but he won't give Abby the 2 liters because he doesn't have money. So he's taunting him. And this line, I fucking cracked up. So he puts the 2 liters in front of his boobs. He makes them boobs or whatever.
Boom. Who am I? Fucking CJ, Pam Anderson, dog. Big ass titties. You know her titties got soda in them too.
I heard that and I was like,
it's such a, like, it cuts right after, like, you could miss it if you weren't paying attention. You know what I mean? It's kind of like under his breath.
I sat there trying to think if he was mixing up seltzer and silicone for a good 2 minutes. I was like, hey, did he mix those up or like, what's
I don't know
the
if he even
there?
was thinking anything besides this is funny. Like, I don't think there's a logical connection. But I fucking died laughing, and I recorded it on my phone. I'm going to insert the audio.
I also have... I don't remember the preceding line, but I just have shouldn't say hate written down in my notes.
Yeah.
Why don't you have the pizza?
Fucking Brad Matuzik was there, man. I hate that dude. Him and his little fucking butthole. He spilled chili cheese on my work pants, didn't even apologize.
You shouldn't say that.
Say what, little butthole?
Oh, hate.
I remember that being I was in a Catholic community, a very, like, white upper-class Catholic community, and so they were all about, like, I knew tons of people who were just like, don't say hate.
Yeah.
Like, in these years, were telling me that, like, hate was a bad thing to say. I just died.
Hell yeah. Yeah, this whole part was so good. T to B. Loved it.
Totally.
And so Andre does 2-liter hands where he duct tapes the 2 liters to his hands, which was great too. And he just shaking him up, taunting his friend, plays a VHS with the 2 liters taped to his hands. The VHS thing was great too. It's all
drags
just
on.
cracking up. The whole thing was so funny.
Yeah.
And at one point, Abby gets mad that Andre/Dallas will not give him a drink, so he puts on his glasses. And so he has these 3D glasses. Well, they're regular glasses, but one frame is red and one frame is blue. That seems to be his thing, that he gets upset and puts on these glasses. It's like going into a special place. And then the 2 liters explode, and was he doing psychic powers? Was he not? We kind of don't know. Were they just being shaken up too much and then they exploded?
That's what I thought.
They imply that it could be psychic powers. So Andre is basically just like an agitator. His intention was to bring pizza and drinks, and he ends up doing neither, and also doesn't bring the right VHS. He promises a Pac-Man VHS, but what he has is a Pac-Man cartoon and not gameplay. So, basically everything he contributed was not helpful.
He brought a 4-hour-long tape of Pac-Man cartoons.
And then he leaves.
Yeah.
So Cam, the older brother, has gone, and we don't know when he's going to return or where he's gone, but he's just gone. However, the challenge still stands, and Abby is following the rules, even though Cam is gone and nobody's watching him. This was apparently inspired by a classic 1962 film, The Exterminating Angel, which I was attempting to watch earlier today. It is about a group of affluent dinner guests who are unable to leave a room of this mansion after a dinner party for inexplicable reasons. Nobody knows why they can't leave. I got about 40 minutes in before we had to record podcasts, so not completed it, but
hell yeah.
It's based off of that. It almost becomes kind of annoying in this movie. You're just stand up already,
Yeah.
So he is sweating a bunch, stuck on this couch, starting to get to the point where he's getting very thirsty, very hungry. He gets the styrofoam cup with the grabber arm and drops it, and then he tries to psychic power it. This was a second use of his psychic powers. And big ol' roaches come out. These are not house roaches.
No.
These are hissing cockroaches from the fucking Brazil or something.
It's gross, folks. It's gross.
And after that's when the exterminators come.
I love them.
They end up moving the couch with him on it. It's so funny.
I think every viewer has a tipping point where you're just like, what the fuck? What is going to get him out? Is anything going to get him out? Or, all I did was read, a summary. I saw that it took place in one room, but I still thought, he's going to have to get up because he'll, piss, right? He'll piss and shit.
Nope.
Because we've seen him pee already, so we know that he can pee, and humans always have to pee, right? And just, that was the tipping point for me where I was like, okay, this is a different fucking universe.
Yeah, because he's still ostensibly covered in old dried milk puke, because he's never moved.
No!
So he probably ends up being just covered in piss and shit, too.
If any movie would support a theory about, time not being real or something, or malleable, or I don't know. Something about time-space continuum bullshit. This movie definitely has it.
Yeah.
Because how they portray the passage of time is they do and don't.
I thought that was kind of fun. It's kind of neat how they do and don't. Yeah.
It really frustrated me at first, but then once it hits kind of a change, then I really appreciated it.
How he looks at the end of the film, the costume and the makeup, even though it comes off as extremely comical, it's still really good.
Yeah.
A great part is when he even moves off the couch a little bit, his skin is just stuck to the couch.
Yeah, when Andre comes over, he's already stuck to the couch, and that's day one, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Where I like the passage of time that it exists and that it also doesn't. I like that some movies don't have to be as accurate when it comes to.
Yeah, they're not spelling it out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
This is definitely one of those movies that I'm just trusting it. I'm just gonna see where it takes me. And
ride the wave, bro. Relax.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm a real surfer guy.
Yeah.
I've definitely surfed, and I was surfing on the wave of this gross-ass movie, baby.
Yeah.
I was feeling sweaty. After the milk puke scene, I took a drink of my water, and it tasted like milk, and I hated it. This movie caused me, like, visceral pain and upsetness.
You can smell it. You can feel it. And when they move the couch with him on it, you see how the carpet underneath the couch is like bright white.
Oh my
And
god.
everywhere else is like dark brown, which was incredible.
It makes sense how it took 4 months now.
Yeah. And they didn't know, like, they're not carpenters. They're just like figuring shit out and how to make the room look like his old dorm room. He's like, we didn't even know how to put up a shelf.
Damn.
We had to figure it out. So much detail is put into this set. It's crazy.
It really, you can tell, like, everything is like a Chekhov's gun, in that, like, everything that is shown has a fucking purpose and comes into play in some regard. You know, the fucking gross-ass cup leads to cockroaches, leads to X, Y, and Z. It really does feel meticulously put together and purposeful. And I like that, especially with the juxtaposition of, with the film, nothing is happening. There's no effort. There's no, like, you could say there's no definition to it, whereas the room is so put together with a, idea.
And over time, the room starts to get more and more dilapidated at the same time that Abby himself is getting more and more deteriorated.
Yeah. They completely mirror each other.
They're kind of decomposing at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So when the exterminators are there, they put off bug bombs, but he is still playing his game. Yeah. He offers to pay them $10,000 if they'll just let him sit in the bug bomb apartment. Which is insane. And at one point he's eating his sandwich with his mask, like just putting his mask up and taking a bite of his sandwich. So he's getting all this bug bomb in him.
And freaking topical, am I right? Freaking trying to eat with the mask.
Yeah. And eventually he just passes out, which is incredible. Yeah.
I just at this point I was like, you failed the challenge, man. Like that it's over. You can get up. Like
he is so dedicated to this challenge. He will not fail this challenge.
This is what makes it so hard to explain to the two people I've talked to about this movie, is like what the motivation is. Mm-hmm. Why they're like, well, why can't he get up off the couch? He has to complete the challenge.
Yeah.
That's it. He really wants to complete that challenge.
So this lady comes over, the R&B singer, and that's the first time that we get a real sense of when exactly it is, because she tells him it's July 25th. And when she tells him it's the 25th, he thinks it could be Christmas. He has no idea. So she has to then specify July. So it's already like, how long has he been sitting there? We don't know. But now we have our first indicator of where we are in time. At that point is also when we kind of get the first real story about his dad.
Yeah.
So we've hinted, or it's come up a few times, that he has some kind of situation with his dad. I don't think we ever get the full story, but we know that his dad has gone away to prison, we think, in California.
He says locked up, yeah.
But then he also says that his dad went to California and became a truck driver, so I don't know. They kind of insinuate that his dad might be a sex offender, but we never really get the full story. What he says is that his dad was helping out a kid with his spare tire.
Yeah.
They had to go into the restroom to talk about the tire warranty, and it was a misunderstanding, and he's not supposed to be in trouble.
He's in denial about his father's...
Well, that could be that it is a sexual predator scenario, but it could also be an anti-sodomy case. His dad could just be gay and have been hooking up.
Sure.
Which is kind of what the man who comes to the apartment implies.
Oh, yeah. Gay-ass shit.
Yeah. In 1999, anti-sodomy laws were still in effect in 19 U.S. states, including Michigan. As of 2016, 12 states still have anti-sodomy laws on the books, still including Michigan, who has them even still today. In 2020, it is technically illegal to even consensually participate in anal or oral sex in Michigan.
Oh, wow.
Even though the Supreme Court declared anti-sodomy laws unconstitutional in 2003, they can't be legally prosecuted. However, these laws do still exist. So gay people and gay sex was criminalized until 2003. You could be arrested for having even consensual sex, anally or orally. So where they do, maybe it could be a real sexual predator scenario, but it could also have been that his dad was just gay and being normal and got arrested for it. And so the situation is unclear, I would say.
Yeah.
That's an interesting take, talking about like how that law was still in effect in Michigan. Like, it'd be interesting if that's what the narrative was trying to do, because it just kind of gives it more of like a layer, if that makes any sense.
Definitely.
It does, and it's like kind of a hidden gem, maybe. I think that most people don't know about anti-sodomy laws or their effect on the gay community, and that it was that recent ago that they were struck down by Supreme Court in 2003. 2003, okay? We're not talking the 50s here, when most people think that gay people got rights.
Yeah.
2003. And as of 2016 and probably 2020, just 2016 was the most recent article that I read, 12 states still have them in their active laws. So it is still technically illegal to be gay in 12 states. So right now, 2020.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it is an interesting gem. And I don't know, like I said, it's unclear if that's what they're going for or not, but it does seem kind of like that's what they were angling towards. And I think that that's really cool and interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, the lighting in this scene is really cool. It's like
Completely
pitch black.
changes, yeah.
Yeah, completely changes. It's like pitch black, and then whoever's face we're on, we just get like one square of light on their face.
Yeah, just their face is illuminated. Very little of the setting is at this point. It really makes for this intimate, you don't get really much of any context for any of the characters' relationships to one another, but I think the lighting helps create this trusting intimacy that I think this character brings, Yeah. You feel like this woman really cares for Abby and wants him to get off the couch.
Yeah.
More out of empathy and love rather than like, the first two characters are just like, oh, you're a quitter, you don't do anything, and like...
They're so rude and mean.
Yeah, they're just reinforcing his shitty behavior, but she is caring, she's kind. This is not good for you. Your hip bones are going to close up, and that's not good.
And her boyfriend comes in the doorway, and he is rude and mean, too.
Yeah.
And Abby ends up putting on his glasses to psychic power some pain into the man.
What's interesting about that character, he plays the same character in the director's second film, The Alchemist Cookbook.
Oh, yeah. And you know what else?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm interrupting.
No, go ahead.
I forgot to mention up top that this movie is the second in a trilogy of movies from this director, a trilogy of Y2K movies. And The Alchemist Cookbook is the other one that's out now, and then the third one's forthcoming. But they have a simultaneous timeline between The Alchemist Cookbook and this movie. So yeah, it's part of a Y2K trilogy, the two of them. Go on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's really good in The Alchemist. He has a really fucking freaky scene in that movie. I'm not going to say anything.
I want to watch it.
It's really good.
So yeah, he gives some psychic pain to the man. And then they leave. So next day, he's eating his own sweat, which was another gross, nasty thing.
Just like taking up globs from his chest.
Yeah. It starts raining outside, and he gets so excited because he's so thirsty. But he can't open the window while sitting on the couch. So he pops out those glasses again and tries to psychic power the window open. But instead of the window being psychic powered open, a bird flies in through the window and dies.
R.I.P. little buddy. We hardly knew ye.
Yeah. He tries to put the cup out the window, but he drops the cup, and that's when he starts busting up the wall.
Oh God. It's this long stretch of just like no dialogue, just...
There are some long shots in this movie.
Yeah, just a guy who At this point, I honestly was just like, yeah, he can't get up.
Yeah.
He lacks the ability to stand up. He is glued to there, so he has to just make it work.
If you take the metaphor literally, he can't stand up for himself.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I think this is really where I started feeling bad for him. Just like, you pity him.
Yeah.
Like, it's really pitiful that this grown man
And that he's
is
going to such lengths to not have to get
Oh
up
my
off
God.
the couch. Like, are you going to keep living in this house after this? Like, busting all the pipes up. Also, the sewage pipe busts so easily with just the camera tripod.
Yeah, I was really shocked about that. I was like, oh yeah, this won't work at all. Like, that has a rubber tip.
Yep, but there it goes. And he finally does get the water pipe to burst and get some water. And I think it cuts after that, but for the rest of the movie, like, the burst water pipe, it never comes back into play. Like, it doesn't just keep being burst and flood the apartment.
No, it just has a limited amount of water in it.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Same with the sewage. Like, it doesn't keep coming into play. Just the one time he gets covered in shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Just incredible. Then we fast forward some more time, and now he has a beard. So now we know he's really getting into some time here. And there's snow. He's eating snow and roasting pieces of his boots to eat.
I was thinking, like, leather is just tanned cow's skin, correct?
It is. Yeah, it's animal skin.
So leather has, like, caloric content to it.
Look, I'm no animal products expert because I've been vegetarian, I would say, most of my life. But it seems to me that people eat most parts of animals, right? I think you can eat it. I just don't know how much, like, it's going to give you, you know? But I don't think it's toxic.
Yeah, they're perfectly edible.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah? Is it bad to eat leather? Yes.
It's cool, like, how they set up his spot at that point. Like, they have the tripod set up as, like, a hearth over a little baby campfire he's put on the coffee table.
Again, just so pitiful.
Yeah, it is, like, at a certain point, you change to having compassion for this boy and feeling sorry for him, feeling sad for him, and wanting him to be good, and you kind of forget that he's not, like, that he could just stand up and be fine.
I know. You really do. Well, you just believe. You just believe he can't get up.
Yeah.
Little guy.
Poor little fellow, bless his heart.
Yeah.
And he also has a fucked up cut on his knee. I don't know if that's supposed to be like a bed sore or what. But the cut gets worse and worse as the rest of the movie goes on, too.
Oh, yeah.
It's like gangrenous.
And, like, the final scene, yeah, it looks really fucking gnarly.
Yeah. So he finally does hit the glitch level of Pac-Man. And it seems to be simultaneous with the countdown of Y2K. Because once he hits the glitch, there's colors, the red and the blue outside the window. Then there's fireworks sounds. I think they do have a 10 countdown. And once he puts his glasses on, then all the colors are inside. It's just so cool. But then the power goes out and there's screaming and there's cop cars and there's a comical amount of sirens all happening outside the apartment.
Yeah.
And this is the first time where he tries to stand up.
Come on.
And cannot.
Ugh.
Yeah, so he can't stand up, and Cam is gone, and he has no one else, and there's a fucking Y2Ks happening outside. I love that they played Y2K this way, that they went with, like, what if it actually was the end
What if
of
it
things?
fucking sucked? Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really fun.
I loved it, yeah.
When Cam finally comes back, he actually did this twice. So first, when the lady came over, and she was like, how long have you been here? And he's like, oh, at least since this morning, I think. When actually he'd been on the couch for, like, who knows, a year. And when Cam finally comes back, it's kind of the same thing. Like,
What are you doing?
Relaxing.
You've been sitting here this whole time.
I've been here since this morning, I think. Did I miss 4th of July?
and Cam says, what are you doing? And he says, relaxing. Like he's just trying to play it cool.
Maxing, yeah.
I thought that was so funny. So Cam tells him what's been going on outside, that everyone's in a bunker, and he's kept the bird in a box on the table.
Oh.
The bird that flew through the window.
Yeah.
When Cam tries to touch it, he says, "Don't touch him, he's sleeping." He's fully lost his GD mind at this point. That's my friend, he's sleeping. Meanwhile, all of his guts are gone.
Yeah.
And I think that's the inciting incident that makes him so mad that he has to go after his brother, right?
Yeah.
That he keeps fucking with his bird.
Best friend.
So he puts on his glasses, he psychic powers the radio on, and he finally stands up. His skin peels off onto the couch, blood coming out of his legs, and psychic powers the brother's head to explode.
Scanner style, baby.
Most of the budget for this movie was spent on that one effect. According to the director, quote, "It's the most money I've ever spent on one thing ever."
It rocked.
Crazy, looked awesome.
Very fucking wild.
They made it have foggy eyes before his brain exploded, and then it exploded, and it was so sick. Loved that
Super
choice.
effective, yeah.
And there's banging on the door, and the door opens. Someone is there who's not revealed to the camera, and he finally turns the knife around that he'd been holding on for his father and says, "You made it." So it's presumably his dad who made it there to
Made it
get
home.
him. And there's no end credits because all the credits were at the beginning. So where we would normally say roll creds, there's no creds. It just says exit music over the Pac-Man glitch, which was cool. I like that.
Yeah, rocks.
End of the film. Yeah, so this movie was wild, crazy, interesting, captivating. I think that, and Nick, you kind of mentioned this earlier, the director, like, not giving a fuck about the audience or not giving a fuck about having a mainstream audience, at least.
Yeah.
I have this quote from him that he said, "All I want is, like, 20 years from now, a bunch of weirdo 15-year-olds discover this somewhere in the dustbin of Netflix or iTunes. That's my audience."
Yeah, no, that's honestly, like, the best way of thinking of it, where, like, I'm sure people that he's been influenced by had the same kind of outlook of, like, how they want their work to be digested in the future.
Yeah.
Where, like,
Yeah.
And he's like, so we mentioned that he is a professor at Michigan State University. He teaches film production there. And he said, like, he has a good job. He makes decent money. He's not making movies to get money. He's making movies because he loves the craft. He has this artistic, like, itch inside of him that needs to come out. And this is something that, Colin, we discussed on our Mandy episode, too. Like, that Super 8 feeling where you're just making movies like how when you're a kid and you have a Super 8 in your backyard, because for the love of the game, not thinking about ticket sales, not thinking about box office, like whatever kind of stuff, just because you have this artistic vision and you want to get it out there, and who the audience is almost irrelevant because you have just a story you want to tell. And I think that's really cool, and I think it rocks when people can express themselves creatively and freely that way. And I think it reaches the people it needs to reach, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, well said. It really does feel like this just... It does... I didn't see that connection to Mandy, but it's definitely there of just like a singular vision being perpetrated by this director that is unique.
Yeah.
Fucking bizarre. Weird shit. Just weird fucking movie.
And it's just the movie he wanted to make, and I love that for him.
Respect.
Gotta respect the game.
It makes me hopeful of, like the fact that this movie was able to get made, it makes me at least think as a filmmaker that, like, you could pretty much make anything if you just, like, want to do it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what his next project's gonna look like.
I know.
Totally.
And I'm excited for them. And, like, this movie made me want to watch more movies.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I always want to watch movies, but, like, I want to watch all his movies. I want to watch all of Andre's movies. I want to watch more movies.
You went to watch Terminator.
I went to watch The Exterminating Angel.
Oh, yeah, that.
I had to pay to rent that, baby, and I paid the $3.
Dang. Hey, I freaking watched, speaking of which, I watched this movie, Relaxer, on Crackle, because it was free, and I was like, oh, I'll save a few bucks. I wish I hadn't.
The ads were so much.
I loathe ads.
They were worse than normal ads because they would be like 3 minutes long. And also, I don't know if this was the same on yours, but like mine were so loud. Like every time the ads came on, I literally had to mute the TV because it would be like a damn concert in my bedroom. They interrupted in random times too, not in cuts.
My first ad break came mid-milk puke. It cut away and then
incredible.
cut back.
Yeah, I love that. I think there's only one tiny little nugget that I didn't mention.
You got something?
I don't know. Is this interesting?
Lay it on us.
Who am I, Jay Leno? Oh, is this interesting? The cup, the styrofoam cup in the movie.
Yeah.
It's from a restaurant in North Grand Rapids called the Filling Station Mexican Grill. I looked it up. It's closed now permanently. Sorry.
R.I.P.
That's it. I don't Is that fun?
I mean, I guess the question is, did they close because of COVID or
this movie?
Because of this movie.
I don't know. Couldn't find the info on when it closed. That's it. It's a very Grand Rapids love story because everybody's from GR. All the actors besides the Chicago guy and the Cincinnati guy, and takes place in GR.
Does it?
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the city is irrelevant. I don't care where it took place. I don't give a shit.
At least being in the Midwest, though, in general, makes the characters and their situation seem more authentic. These are Midwest people. These are Midwest people through and through. Yeah. All right, so we got to rate this out of 5. It's hard to even rate this movie on a scale of other films because, like, it's so its own thing. How do you go about rating this?
I just give it 3.
3?
Yeah. Well, I'll give it 3.5 because I do respect. I think there's like an artistic element there that I really do respect. There absolutely is. But there is such like the viewing experience for this is so corrosive and caustic and just like it is rough to watch this. Yeah. Like I appreciated at times the slow pacing, but I also was like the scene where he was reaching for the cup with his grabber. I was just like, just move this along. Why? I was on the edge of my seat. If you grab that thing too hard, it crunches in half. I did write that it was harrowing. Yeah. But with that being said, I still found like all the characters incredibly believable and authentic. The setting was so fucking good and authentic and so familiar. I think all viewers should be for anyone who watches this movie is a freaking weirdo. So like. You listen to this podcast, you're a freaking weirdo. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. 3.5 for me. Nick, what do you think?
Again, I've only seen it once, and like I definitely after this conversation, I'm probably gonna watch it again. And I'd say easily like out of all his other films, like this is his strongest one. But like it would have been interesting if like it just went a little bit more in depth. But like I understand, like it's from the get go, it's supposed to be a comedy. But I think like out of 5, like a solid 4 for me is doable. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I'm really excited about this filmmaker, and like I really hope that more people get a chance to check out his work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think I'm also gonna go 4. And I'll say a whole star is just for Andre.
Yeah, you just wanted to record this up so you could...
So I could gas up the boy.
You went bit by bit with each thing he said. You just loved
because
it.
It was so funny.
It is really, really funny.
I enjoyed it so much I watched it 3 times in one sitting. It's
very good.
And then I went down a YouTube hole on Andre's stuff. He's so funny. I'm like, how does he do it? I want to know how he does it. Yeah, 4 stars from me. And would we recommend this film? I would say yes. It's free. Who cares?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, all around. Hell yeah.
Now it's time for ScreenVomit. have to go.
So in this segment, we just talk about whatever else we've been watching, shows, movies, whatever. So, Kali, what have you been watching?
Since last time, I've seen... I'm just going to go through them real quick. Yes, God, yes. Good. Showgirls? Incredible. I love Showgirls.
Yes. Hell yeah.
Holy shit. Thunderpants. You can hit on it.
Okay, yeah.
Support the Girls.
That's great. That's really good.
Yeah, super good. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen?
Oh my god.
That's alright. Battleship Potemkin, the 1925 Russian propaganda film? Outstanding. Loved it. And Life Force, the 1985 vampire space movie? Real weird.
Hell yeah. Look at you. Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. Nick, what have you been watching?
Well, I mentioned Seinfeld earlier before we started recording, so I've been watching that. I've been doing an episode a day. I should be watching more stuff, but like I saw Prisoners a couple days ago, and that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also right now currently going through my YouTube history because I watch a lot of YouTube stuff. So I keep on watching Josh Gad crying on Twitter. That's really funny because he's just talking about, like, it's a little sad because he's talking about the coronavirus outbreak and just saying, like, we're going to get through this. But, like, you can't tell if it's performative or, like, genuine because he's an actor. So it's like, you don't know what exactly he's doing. I keep watching the music video for Another Night by Real McCoy, which is that 90s club song. I'm sure you guys might, like, recognize the melody of it. Yeah, really good stuff. And finally, McRib commercials.
Hell yeah.
I know, Kayla, you said you're a vegetarian, so I don't recommend
pescatarian. What have you been watching?
All right, so me and Kali watched a movie together called Thunderpants. I highly recommend this movie. If you're watching stuff on YouTube, you can find it for free on YouTube, although it has like a weird Russian name to the video.
But it'll come up if you look up Thunderpants,
Yeah, it'll come up and it's the full video, the full movie. It has, what's his head who plays Ron Weasley?
Rupert Grint.
Rupert Grint. As young. This is like a 2002 joint. So here's the synopsis. An 11-year-old boy's amazing ability to break wind leads him first to fame and then to death row before it helps him to fulfill his ambition of becoming an astronaut. So...
kind of all over the place.
It's incredible. We laughed big laughs for this movie.
Yeah.
So Thunderpants, recommend. I also watched... Hubie Halloween, all right? I'm a little late, but it's the new Adam Sandler joint on Netflix. You've probably heard of it. Has every comedian celeb in it. Surprisingly funny for, like, what it is. Also can't decide if Adam Sandler is canceled for his character. Time will tell. However, I enjoyed it. Do watch Hubie Halloween. What else did I watch? I've got two other things. And I'm going to unfortunately have to pop off about both of them. So
go on.
First, I'm thinking of ending things. All right. Pull up a chair, folks, and tell me, why the fuck is everyone talking about this movie? It is a bad movie. Don't watch it. The first half is so slow you want to die. Then there's maybe like 5 minutes of entertainment. Then the middle part is all confusing. You don't know what the fuck's going on. And then the end is so avant-garde, like extended dance scenes out of nowhere, a musical song. Nobody knows what the fuck's going on with this movie. I thought nothing of it except, is this over yet, the entire time. I don't get it. There's nothing to get as far as I'm concerned, and it's a bad movie. Don't waste your time watching it, and it's long. All right, so I popped off about that one. Second thing, I finished Stranger Things. All right,
okay.
I talked about that. I started it last time.
Yeah.
So I finished it. So there are 3 seasons up right now. Season 3, such a decline from seasons 1 and 2. Seasons 1 and 2, so good. Season 3, not so much. There is so much bickering. It's obnoxious. I feel like they put so much filler in season 3 and not as much action. There's like 2 minutes of action every episode. The rest of the episodes is everybody arguing. They do this a lot. Hey, grab me that bowl right now. What? Why would you need a bowl? Just do it. And that happens, I would say, 5 times per episode, even though everyone is under an understanding that, like, crazy things are happening all the time.
Well, stranger things.
Stranger things are happening. Okay, so that just seems to me like you needed to fill an extra 10 seconds of dialogue, so you had them repeat what the first person said. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So it's filler. It's filler and it can be cut. And this happens all the time, too, is that, like, somebody is bleeding and dying on the floor, and meanwhile 2 people are off to the side arguing about Coca-Cola or something extremely dumb. This person's dying. Would you not be paying attention to the situation? I think season 3 was not good. All the characters, everything I liked about them from the previous seasons, I don't like about them no more. They've turned them all bad. In my opinion, they could have ended at the end of season 3. Could have been fine. They didn't have to add those post-creds to hint at season 4. They don't need a season 4 as far as I'm concerned. That's my opinion. Yeah. All right. I've popped off successfully. I popped off a little too hard on that one. Gonna have to cut half of that. But I got opinions, all right? And I just...
Yeah, you had to go off.
All right, I had to go off, sis, but we're back now to being normal. So it's time for plugs.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have plugs?
Yeah, I do. www.thebiggzip.com. So that's DA, and then big, and then zip.com. It's official. And then I actually have my personal website, which is this www.nickalonzo.com. Yeah, not really big on the social media stuff. It's just hard to keep up, but
yeah.
You could contact me on email on the website if people want to contact through email. If people still do that.
Hell yeah.
People can also find Shitcago on YouTube for free.
You can find everything I've done except the Big Zip for free on my website. So
hell yeah. All right, for us, we are on Instagram and everywhere else at ScreenVomit, one word on all the things. Subscribe on your podcast app if you haven't already, and give us a rate and review while you're there. Send us an email at screenvomitpod@gmail.com, or tweet us with your thoughts on this movie or other movies. Suggest a movie, send us questions, whatever. Check out Collie's other podcast, How to Fire Your Boss, also on all the things. And next week, we will be watching Happiest Season. So you can find that on Hulu. And Colin's bursting to pop off on that one. So that should be cool. And nice gay movie in time for the gay holidays.
Hell
and thanks, Nick, for joining us.
yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thank you.
Hell yeah. And we'll see everyone else next week. Okay,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.